I was just like walking through my kitchen and then like all the words just came to me. Wow. And like literally in 5 minutes, like it's just literally just, it's all coming to me to the point I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to write this down.
I would say like you were divinely inspired.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like God just gave me these words. Yes. And so
I would agree. When it opens up that easily, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 73 of The Real Deal. I am your host, Janine Igliane, with my co-host, Ryan Hatcher.
What's up, guys?
Our guest today is Whitney Lowrey. Whitney is not only a friend, she is a client, she is a teacher, she has been a coach. What else? Like, what other hats do you wear, Whitney? Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm an elementary school teacher. I've been teaching for 10 years. Before I was a teacher, I was actually a paraprofessional. So that's what made me get into teaching. I loved it so much. So I went back to school to become a teacher. And now I also am a professor for ASU part-time. So
awesome.
What did you love so much about it?
I loved it. I think what it was I was working with a teacher, and honestly, I think it's just because she empowered me. Like, she taught me about all the different disabilities and really gave me the courage to just, hey, take over. You can do this and you can do that. And so I just was like, I love this. I love this so much. I love working with the students. I love their aha moments.
Yeah.
I love making that difference. So I love
it. Leads into your newest title is author.
Yes.
Yes. You want to tell us about your book?
Yeah. So I wrote a book called Everyone Learns Differently. And I guess I kind of got that title just because it's always how we're explaining it to the kids I work with. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone learns differently. So it doesn't matter if you're the first to raise your hand, the last one to submit your test. Like, it doesn't matter. And so what one person needs, the other one might not. So so the book just goes through a little boy named Jet who's in 2nd grade, and he's just kind of talking about the different kids in his classroom and how they all learn differently. And so one of them's really good at singing, or one of them's really good, like, there's all the different skills they have and abilities, and it's just because we all just learn differently. So
I love it because I think, like, my son totally learns differently, and each of my kids, really and truly, every one of them is different in the way that they learn. Even my husband and I are different. But sometimes when you're a kid, that can feel like, oh, I'm not like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So having a book like this where it's like, no, that's actually normal. We're all different.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be so comforting.
Yes.
Is that why you did it? Like, just seeing other kids and seeing them and having to explain it to them, and like, how did you get to a place of like, okay, I know this, but now I want to actually write a book about this?
Yeah, I think my heart just goes out because I work with students who do have special needs. And so they might really struggle in a certain area. And so they kind of sometimes feel like less than, or like what you're saying, like, oh, I'm just not as good as them. And it's like, it doesn't mean that. It just means you learn differently, and you might learn at a different pace, but you're still learning. And it doesn't mean that they're better and that you're, like, it doesn't mean any of that. And so, just
so how, when did you say, like, I could actually write a book about this? Like, how did that part come about?
I'd always wanted to. But I didn't sit down and actually, like, think about how I wanted to just do it all. Like, I just always knew I wanted to. And so honestly, like, I was just like walking through my kitchen, and then like all the words just came to me. Wow. And like literally in 5 minutes, like, it's just literally just, it's all coming to me to the point I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to write this down. Yeah. So I grab my phone and I just start typing it in the notes section. Of my phone. And then after I got done, I had several like pages, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I just got like that whole imposter syndrome where I'm just like, it's not good enough. It's not going to be good. I don't want to do anything with this. Oh my goodness. I'm like, so I sat on it for 2 years and did nothing with it.
Oh my gosh.
So that was the fear that kicked in.
Oh, 1,000%.
Why? What were you scared of, you think?
What I know I'm scared of was, what if I post it and what if someone's like, really, that's what it is? And you call yourself a special educator? Like, I just, all these like negative thoughts and comments of like fears of what people would say. And so it rocked my world to the point that I was like, I'm not telling anybody I wrote this. I'm not doing anything with it.
And it was completed?
Yeah, like it was, yeah.
So now looking back, do you wish you would have done it sooner?
Like,
what would you say to that person 2 years ago that was hearing those negative thoughts and those whispers of putting doubt in you? Like, what would you say to that person?
there were times that I thought like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I would have just done it 2 years earlier. But then I'm also a believer, like everything happens at the right time. I'm a believer of that. So I'm like, I can't think about that.
Yeah.
And I'm so much different than I am now than I was 2 years ago. So I think I'm in a way better headspace just in case something, I don't know, some people say something. But yeah, like I think the biggest thing of like what I would tell myself is like, who cares? Like just be confident in you. And honestly, like I feel like when the words all came, I was like, it didn't feel like my words. So I kind of was like,
I would say like you were divinely inspired.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like God just gave me these words.
Yes.
And so
I would agree. When it opens up that easily, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I would say anybody that's listening, I think that's, by the way, anytime we're going to do something amazing, we almost have to expect like an attack or those doubts to come, so that when they come, you're like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. I knew that there were going to be seeds of doubt, but I have to push that aside and just keep moving forward.
Right. And I think the biggest thing that the difference between the me now and the me 2 years ago is really, really taking the time to be like, who are you? What do you know about yourself? Like, what do you actually believe about yourself? And so that when and if someone says something, I find, well, that's not true.
Right.
That's a lie because I know I'm not that person.
Good.
So I think that's the biggest difference.
So 2 years later, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. What does that first step look like?
So what happened was I just I go to a counselor. And so she's like, what do you want to work on today? And so I didn't even tell her that I wanted to write a book. I was that terrified. And so I just want to work on like not caring what other people think. And honestly, I didn't remember what we did in that session. Yeah. All I remember is walking out being like, I feel so confident. I feel so good. So then after that, the fun part is the illustrator, in my opinion. So I was like, that was like so fun. So I just started researching and looking up illustrators and reached out to some of my friends that were like amazing artists, and I wanted them to do it. And they were just like, I can't take this on. So I have a friend who's also written books, Mary Jantz, and she used this illustrator, Mel Schroeder. So I looked at her like Instagram and fell in love with her artwork. And so then I reached out to her and was all like on a waiting list kind of until she could have enough time.
And she lives where?
She lives in Spain.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
That's awesome.
I know, it was so fun.
So you have your book, you have your illustrations, and then how do you go get published? Because is that the next step?
Right. So I didn't even know, like, I just didn't even know. I knew nothing. And I don't claim to know a whole lot now. But whenever I did, I was like, so is there like a certain format? Or is it in a Word document, in a PDF? Like, or is there like a special writer's thing? Like, I don't know. Yeah. So I just sent it in a Word document. And then on it, I even had like just little ideas of what I wanted the pictures to be and stuff. And so I sent it. The only thing I did not like imagine was the cover. So that is 1,000% just like her vision.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was super cool. So after I did that, she also, the illustrator, like puts it all together. So then she would send it to me, like all the words are all in there, everything's put together. So then I just was like researching like crazy. What all the, like an ISBN number, which sounds easy. Like, okay, just buy it. But then there's all these different, well, if you go through this company, they offer it, but then there's just so many, then that takes away part of what you can do with it. And so just a huge learning.
Yeah.
So I bought like the ISBN number, had to go through the copyright. And then I wanted to do most of it like on my own as much as I could, like at least at the beginning. I thought like maybe I'll reach out to like a company, stuff like that. So I just have my website and I had like, it's available on there. And so I went through a company to like a print on demand. And then I went on Amazon. So then you have to go through KDP. And so KDP gets it onto Amazon. So that's only...
So what's your website? So someone listening wants
Rooted
to
in
go.
Resource.
Okay.
So it's actually, so I also make t-shirts like on the side. And so it's like all t-shirts and then this one, then this is on there. So
for now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is hot off the press, right?
Sure is.
It's so cool. you should pick it up and show it on there. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so cool.
I love it. I'm so obsessed with it.
So what's the biggest thing you've learned from this process? Would you say?
I think the biggest part was the fact that I did it because I was just so scared. So.
And how do you feel now?
I feel so good. I feel so good. It is kind of crazy to be like, holy cow, it's like getting into people's hands now.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about that because we all feel those same fears, those same inadequacies, and that stops a lot of people from doing what they're supposed to do or what they're meant to do. And one of my favorite quotes is, fear or doubt, you can interchange them,
Yeah.
kills more dreams than failure ever will.
That's good.
And so I really love that part of your story.
Yeah, thank you.
You overcame it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you did it.
A lot of work, but
And you figured it out.
yeah, with the help of people and people pouring into me and me doing the work too. Like, yeah, it was,
That's awesome. So let's go back, and I want to start the beginning of your story, Whitney. Like, where did you grow up, and how did you get to be where you are today? Because I know your story, and I think it's a pretty cool story.
So I grew up in Lee Summit, Missouri.
Shout out.
Yeah, go Chiefs, go Royals. So grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, and I loved school growing up. Loved it. Like I remember a very few times that like if I got in trouble, my mom's like, "Do I need to ground you from school?" I'm like, "No!" Like I loved it. I loved school.
Was it the social aspect?
Oh,
or the
1,000%.
friends?
Yeah. The social.
Okay.
But actually in elementary school, I struggled to read, which a lot of people don't know that. So I actually went to like classes to help me read and stuff like that. So I struggled with it. Just reading it. Like I was that person that's like, I just read every word. I have no clue what I just read, and just the focus part of it.
You want to know a funny story?
Yeah.
So when you said that, it reminded me of something.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't read that much. And so when I would have to read it in front of everybody, you know how we kind of make those little sniffs and like they're stalls.
Yeah.
Really is what it is. So that it wouldn't look like I was reading slowly. I remember that. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Or like popcorn reading when you're like, okay, I'm the fifth one. I need to go read my line to make sure I know it. Yeah.
And you're not paying attention to
Oh,
anything.
yeah, no, not at all.
I was the one that would always volunteer, like, I'll read,
Aw.
let me read.
Did you read a lot?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
That was.
You were like my lifesaver. Like,
and I was like, I'm gonna read this so fast so I can show off how good of a reader I am. And I would just da-da-da. And it's so funny because you forget, and just like you guys probably do too, like, not everyone is like me. Like, not everyone loves to read. Like, for some people, it really is scary. I remember Ray telling me that too, that he would be so afraid when they would call on him to read out loud.
I remember in
like,
church,
oh, my heart.
and we were in a little classroom, and we would go around, and I'm like, oh man, okay. And so then I would read, and I would do those little stall tactics, so it didn't sound like I was a slow reader.
Yeah. I remember like reading in church. My one memory of reading in church, like, is I was reading a script, like something, and it said something about they misled somebody something, I don't know. And I read it as they missiled them, and everyone just started laughing. Never doing this again. But yeah, so I get it. I totally get it. I think we've all had moments.
But that's kind of amazing, though, that you are a teacher and that was how you felt.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I love that.
That's great empathy now, right?
Yeah, it really is. So what was the rest of your, okay, so school, loved it. And then I ended up, just a lot of different stuff happened in high school, and I ended up like kind of getting kicked out of the house. So I was just kind of everywhere. Ended up getting pregnant young, going back home, and then honestly, you have to go pretty quick after that. So so I was working and going to college all at the same time. I just remember my boss was...
And a mom.
Yeah, I had a full-time job, a part-time job, and I was going to school. And I had a baby. And so I remember my boss was like, so when are you sleeping? And I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I did not figure it out. It was really, really rough. Wow. Just doing the single mom thing and going to school. And I had later had like a really good job. But then they came in and just closed down the whole department. So then I moved out to Arizona with my son, who's 3 years old. And I knew my brother. So my brother was like, you should come out here. And so I came out. And before I even got out here, he was like, hey, there's this guy. You would really like him. I was like, I literally don't care. Yeah. Stop. Like, I'm surviving right now. Yeah. And so when I moved out here, my brother signed us both up for like co-ed softball. So then I met, and then my brother wasn't even my throwing partner when we got to the field. And so the good looking guy he told me about, he was my throwing partner. So, and he's now my husband. So that's why I met him. Yeah. So, so then later,
Hey, so that's a side note to anybody listening that's like, where do I meet a good guy?
Yeah.
Get into co-ed softball.
Yeah.
Go play some slow pitch.
Yeah, it's so fun. So anyways, we ended up getting married and then having another kid. So my husband adopted my oldest, and
love that.
Yeah. So I was like, I just want school like I was still single. So when I first moved out here, I was still single mom, but I was like, I want to go to school. It was really important to me. So, but I couldn't like afford it. And so I worked at University of Phoenix, and then they encourage you to go to school. So I essentially got it for free.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, man, my kid is in school now. I need a schedule that matches his, which got me into the school district. And that's where I became a paraprofessional.
Was that your first like step into the door?
Yeah.
Was as a paraprofessional?
Yes. Yep.
And so what is that? That's where, explain that.
Yeah. So they like support the teacher, but they're like working with the students. So they are working with the students, whether it's in the gen ed classroom, in the special education classroom. They're just helping them, whether it's like focusing, pay attention, or if they need help toileting, like, I mean, transporting them.
Is that for all classes or just like special needs?
Special needs, yeah. So if a student has special needs, then a paraprofessional would like support them working under, like, so it's not every student is assigned a paraprofessional, but the paraprofessional is working with the teacher, yeah. So, yeah, so I did that and I loved it. So then I had my bachelor's and then I went back to school, got my master's in education.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And not only as a working professional, but then now as a mom of 2.
Yeah.
So can we talk about your kids a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you have 2 boys.
Yes.
And they both play sports.
Yes, big baseball loving family.
Yes.
So my oldest, Blake, he's now 19, and he is a pitcher at a college in Minnesota, and so he's loving it there. It's his second year there. And then my youngest is 11, and he also plays baseball. So.
And it hasn't even been easy for him. He's had some health stuff that he's had to battle, right?
Yeah, that was so hard. Yeah, so it was like 2 years ago, I think. 2.5 years ago. Yeah, so it was just a regular day, and they had a doubleheader baseball game, and he was just warming up before the game, so he had a throwing partner, and he threw the ball, and my husband, I wasn't even there yet, and my husband calls like, you need to get here immediately, and I was like, why? And he was like, something's not right. Brixton is bawling, like he's crying, something's not right. You have to take him to the hospital. Like something's not right. He is crying. And so I was like, okay. So I rush over there, and he is bawling in the car. And then he's saying like, it's going numb, and I can't feel. Like it was scary. So we get to the hospital. And we were just hungry. We had sat in the hospital forever. Like we were in the waiting room forever. So I reached out to my oldest. I'm like, can you bring us some food? We're hungry. And so he comes, but right when he got there, they sent us back. So we couldn't get our food, whatever. So we're in the back. They take an x-ray, and then they tell us to go sit over here. So we sit over here. We're by ourselves. They walked us down to this way other area. So we're down here, and they came shortly after. I wasn't really waiting. And they're like, hey, we're going to go take your youngest to go get some juice and crackers. It's like, oh my gosh, Pippin's hungry. Yeah, thank you. So they walk him away, and then the nurse says, hey, so he broke his arm. And I was like, that is so weird. He literally just threw a ball. And she goes, yeah, right here. And I was like, yeah, that's weird. And she goes, well, and the x-ray looked like grapes, just like as if it was like dark black spots. And she's like, this is an indicative of cancer. And I lost it. Like I just started bawling. And thank God my oldest was there in the parking lot. And I was like, I just need a minute. I need a minute. And so I went out to the parking lot. And I'm not like a big crier. And so my kids have not really seen me cry. But I walked out there. I just couldn't hold it back. And so walked out to the parking lot. And my son comes walking up. And I just started bawling. And he just hugs. So it was very traumatic. They were like, we need to rush you Phoenix children and see if it's spread out through his entire body. And I'm texting my husband like, you should be here. So my husband showed up pretty quick after that. And it ended up not, thank God, like thank you, just not being cancer, but it's like a tumor, like a cyst, tumor-like cyst is what they call it, like growing in his humerus bone. And so it just continues just to grow as he grows. And so it took up like a third of his humerus bone. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple surgeries, hasn't he?
He's broken it a couple times. He's had one surgery, and they said that the surgery is successful, but it usually takes 3 times for it to really, because they can't scrape it because it's too close to his growth plate.
Yeah.
So then they just kind of like flush it out and then put like a medical grade, like cement type bone stuff in there. So that's what we did. But there's like, and then there's like another spot like, hey, we're looking at it. We're not sure if it's this or that. So just monitoring it. But He threw the first time the other day, like pitching the first time the other day. So.
And how was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
Like my husband's the coach. It was very impactful
Yeah.
for my husband. Like he did it. He's like
Yeah.
pitching, and so that's all. Where Brixton wants to do is just pitch. He wants to play baseball.
Yeah. Side note, I love that you guys are like so involved in your kids' sports, and Scott coaches, which is so fun.
Yeah.
Like, you can never get that time back. Having a son in college, it goes so fast, but having those moments is so awesome.
Yeah, and then it especially hits you when they're in high school and you're like, oh, this is the last. And so keeping that in mind for all the moments leading up to it, you know. So. Yeah.
Side note, you coached Elise for a little bit.
I know. Okay, that was so crazy though, because I had heard like so many of my coworkers at work were like selling their homes left and right.
Yeah.
And they're like, you've got to use Janine. I'm like, who's Janine? Like, what? And so I told my husband, like, hey, there's just Janine, and she's like amazing, and everyone's raving about her. And so you came to our house, and then we were gonna go with you. We went with you.
Yeah. Side note, that wasn't easy. I had to work for it. Scott was tough.
Yeah, like, so.
He was tough on me. I was like, I could take it.
I remember you saying that. Well, and then I went to the school for it was like a parent meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm there, and you walk in. I'm like, what are you doing here? And you're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm the coach. You're like,
wait, that's so funny. It's my daughter.
Yeah.
But I love that. Back to Scott, back to your hubby. I feel like he was so tough, but once I won him over, I like love you guys to pieces.
Oh yeah.
And I would,
Now he's those people being like, okay, so there's someone named Janine, and she's like, she's so amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of that, like there are so many little things that you shared that like really stuck out to me. I love the relationship that you have with your oldest son, and that he was there for you in that moment.
Yeah.
Those hard times are gonna come, but I also love, and it kind of reminds me of your brother's story, Ryan, of like those little accidents and how they they happen for a reason to like point out something that you needed to know, right? Because how else would you have found out that he had this? Or, you know what I mean? Like, had that not happened.
Right.
You want to tell your story super quick, Ryan?
I've never actually talked about this on here, but when I was 7, my brother was 10, and we were a big baseball and basketball family as well. And he hit a ball, broke his best friend's nose in practice or something. And then a couple weeks later, that same kid hit a ball, and my brother misjudged it somehow, and it hit him in the armpit. And those that play baseball, you never, ever get hit in the armpit.
Yeah, that's like so random.
You get hit everywhere else.
Right.
And because of that, though, that impact, it swelled up, and they took him to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you need to get to the hospital right now. And they ran some scans, and they said, you have cancer. But because of that, they found it fast enough, early enough, and my parents basically beeline to Memphis. We were in Missouri. Yeah. Grown up, and went to Memphis, Tennessee to St. Jude's, and he's now 44 or 46 years old.
Yeah.
So they were able to cure him.
That's amazing.
But if it hadn't been for the baseball, there's no way. You know, it could have been way too late. Yeah.
That's what you just don't know, like why things happen, why,
right?
Until later, and you're like, oh, this, you can connect the dots a little bit better.
Well, but it's crazy. The people that know baseball know that that doesn't happen.
You get in the armpit.
Yeah, that's so random.
No, yeah.
So there's a reason for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So Whitney, it says here that you have been an elementary special ed teacher for 10 years, but you're also a professor at ASU.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? I know. I just remember sitting in like my master's courses, and it was in person. I just remember being like, I want that lady's job. Like, I want that job. So then I kind of looked into it and was like, okay, well, you have to be a teacher for at least 3 years. All right, say less. Yeah. So then that happened. I'm like putting out my resume, and it's just like going nowhere. Yeah. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah. And then year after year, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll try this, I'll try that. So it just didn't go anywhere. Yeah. Until I kind of gave up. Like, okay, like, I don't know, maybe it's not meant to be, or maybe I need a few more years. I don't even know. Because then some of them are like, need a doctorate, and So, I was at my best friend was having a barbecue at her house, and I was talking to her sister-in-law, and like, oh, like, what do you do? And so she's like, oh, I work at Arizona State University. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. And then her baby cried and she left. I'm like, okay, whatever. Moving on, so had conversations with other people. And like, maybe like a month or two later, she reaches out, hey, so I remember you saying that. Did you? I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so all it took was her just to pass off my resume.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and then that was it.
So what are you doing? What are you teaching?
So I teach master level courses in education. So it's like the capstone class, like the very last class, or there's another class towards the beginning where it just kind of goes over like an overview of special education, IEPs, like writing, all of that type of stuff. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I love it.
From a random conversation at a barbecue.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I love how that works out.
Divine interventions.
Those moments.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're busy. That's busy because you're full time. You're doing that. You are a mom. Your husband's coaching. Like you guys are doing all these things. But what I love about you is you make time to be active, to be outdoors. You love hiking.
Yes. I love that.
Why do you do that?
I love it. That's why I feel like I just have to do it. Like if I'm done, I just kind of get like, I feel completely different when I don't. I just feel kind of down, almost like this depressed. So.
Where's your favorite place to hike?
Well, I like to go new places. I think one of my favorite is Picacho Peak. Have you ever done it?
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
You're like climbing up cables.
I didn't realize that. So I used to
so scary.
I just used to go up to the top and you're like, beautiful view. And I remember seeing it go down with the rails. And I'm like, that's cool. I hadn't even gone like halfway, took the picture and then just like came back up. I didn't realize it's like a whole almost like a little obstacle course type thing.
It's halfway to Tucson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a cool hike.
It's
not far. Like you're not traveling a lot of distance, but it's a lot of this and this.
And like climbing, and then like these really sketchy boards with like a little fin. Like
I took a bunch of young men, and it is a fun one.
It's so fun. Brickman did it.
You're scaling.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay,
he did it. Yeah.
It's not that scary. Or is it?
He was terrified. I mean, there's a part that's like you climb straight up, like the little pole. And so I remember just like pushing him up and then keep going, pushing him up. And I'm like, hang on. Because if you let go, you're taking me with you. But it's so fun though. It's so fun. So my tradition is when I get to the top of a hike, I do a jumping picture.
Okay.
So I make anyone who goes with me, I make them, all right, we got to do a jumping photo.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So what's next?
I haven't gone that far.
Yeah.
Well, you got another one.
I do. Yes. I have another book. So I don't even know when I'll publish it.
Is it finished?
Yeah. So I have it all written. And even when the illustrator did the books again, I have no clue what information she needs to know. I'm like, hey, I don't know if it makes your life easier, but the characters you're drawing, I'm planning on using them again.
Yeah,
maybe keep them. I don't really know how you do it, but do your thing.
Yeah.
So I have my second book, and so I plan on
eventually.
That. Yeah, I mean
like
soon. Not like in a month or anything, but I mean give it a little time. Let this go for a little bit. But
so I'm curious because we've talked about like this concept before too, writing a book about certain things in our industry maybe, right? Which may not happen for many years or ever, who knows? But like what's it cost ballpark to publish a book? I have no clue.
Yeah, so
I'm sure it's a variety of different ranges, right?
Right, yeah. So as far as like the illustrator, that was like the most expensive part. I asked my friend and to do it and he couldn't, and so he kind of gave me a website. It's like Fever, I think, Fever, something, something like that. Yeah. And it has a ton of people that do it, and it kind of has their prices.
Yes.
And so,
so like a couple
$1,000
out
there.
Probably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, a couple $1,000s. Yeah.
How do you plan on getting the word out? Like spreading the word, because that's also something I think anybody listening to this that's business minded or whatever, trying to get their product out there. Like, what are some ways that you plan on doing that?
Okay, so just because I went on to kind of do it on my own at the beginning, and then I think eventually, like, I'd love to find somebody who kind of, makes it go to Scholastic or something. No big deal, but that's kind of the plan. So I have like a social media, which is like a whole thing in itself. Like I create teacher products for teachers, just because as a sped teacher, you're always making something because everything's so individualized. And so my friend's like, I'm like, hey, you should sell your stuff. And so eventually she's like, where are you promoting it at?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized there's a thing called a teacher Instagram. I had no idea.
Oh.
So created my teacher Instagram. And so a lot of cool opportunities have come from that, which I didn't even realize were an option. So I have a teacher Instagram. So I am like a little following or whatever. So I have posted it on there. And then just because I've had this teachergram for 5 years, I've met people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so I've connected with other like friends that I've had that I've met along the way. And so I'm using them also as a way just to get the word out. So I've reached out to like 10 people, 10 other like influencers. And so they are helping me promote it. It's kind of staggered. And then I was going to run some ads on like Instagram and Facebook, and I put on Facebook. And then, yeah, I don't know what, I think, I haven't looked into like an Amazon ad or anything yet.
I should see if we could get you over at the school to read to the kids. Because
okay, yeah. So that was my other thing that I was going to do is like author visits. And
book signing.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, did you see someone just told me about it the other day that a guy was at Barnes & Noble and was sitting at a table.
I saw that.
And he I guess people weren't coming by and he went viral because people,
I know.
And so now his book is literally viral. Like,
I know.
Someone told me that literally.
I love that.
How did it go viral? What happened?
I don't know. Someone literally just told me about it like an hour or two ago.
He was just sitting there. He had a book signing at Barnes & Noble, so he had his table set up and was selling his books, and nobody was coming.
Yeah. Which is also one of my fears, because that would be so sad.
We'll all come and support you.
Like, can you guys come? Like,
just get your family at least.
Right.
So
But yeah, but you know what? Think about that. What if that guy, that's his biggest fear, just like mine was this fear, and
look what happens.
I know. You just never know. You never know until you just jump out and do it. Yeah.
Well, I hope anybody listening to this wants to go and buy one, because it is it's not only like just a cute book, but it's an awesome story.
Yeah.
And again, just as a mom with kids that have all learned differently, and my son, it's maybe a little harder for him. Like something like this, I think could just be so like impactful. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was really cool because I think a lot about like the students I work with and kids in general who just have special needs.
Yeah.
But I let my son who doesn't really have like special needs necessarily, but so I read it to him just to kind of have an idea of like, and it was really interesting. He's like, that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And so I'm like, even just for just a general classroom, just like it just brings so much inclusivity into it and empathy into it. And it just like, oh, that makes sense. I get it now. So,
well, and it doesn't even have to be a special needs issue, right?
Yeah.
Like some are visual learners, some are auditory, right? Some have to do it.
Some are good at math.
Some it's hard to sit still and they need to be kind of moving, you know.
Which I mentioned in the book as well. Just helps you get your wiggles out. And this kid might need it, but this one doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
And I think, teachers being able to identify that and adapt to that is really powerful too, right? Sometimes we try to pigeonhole everybody in the same box, and not everybody is the same.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. Or just even a teacher having empathy, like, I kind of see what they're going through because they're a little bit more wiggly, and so they're having a hard time focus or whatever it is. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. What didn't we ask you, Whitney, that we should have asked you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll say, we always like to end on a rapid fire round, but before I do that, I just want to say, I think you are like a ray of sunshine. Like you genuinely light up the room when you come in. I think you have a heart of gold, and I know that you love your family, and that just shows, and that's amazing. So
thank you.
I think anybody that gets to call you friend or teacher is super blessed. So I hope everybody goes out and gets your book and supports you. And I'm going to do everything I can to help support it, because I just love that. Like, just the storyline is awesome.
Yeah, so everybody on here, buy the book.
Yes. Okay. What's your favorite color?
Ooh, purple.
Okay. Do you have a favorite food?
Chips and salsa.
Oh. What about a favorite drink?
Ooh, I mean, the first one comes to mind is go get margaritas, but I don't know if I should get that.
Okay. Do you have a favorite sound?
Ooh, laughter.
Oh, love that. Okay. What about a favorite book?
I mean, mine, obviously.
Of course. Do you have a favorite podcast?
Your guys'. No, you know who I've been listening to lately is Dr. John Deloney.
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh, he's like, like Dave Ramsey.
Oh.
So Dr. John Deloney is like a huge mental health expert. And so
Love that.
people call in and ask questions and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, he answers them. It's like super enlightening.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll have to check it out. That's why I love asking these questions. Someone will like mention a book or a podcast and I'm like, oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, do you have a favorite vacation?
Ooh. We go to Colorado every year, and it is so much fun. I think my family's just very active, and there's so much active stuff to do. Yeah. And I think typically you think of Colorado like skiing in the wintertime, but there's so much to do in the summertime.
What area do you go to?
Breckenridge.
Oh,
yeah.
Have you ever climbed those all those steps that they have in Colorado?
No.
It's like 1,000 steps or something crazy.
I've seen stuff like that.
I know. I
But
want
then
to
you
do
gotta go
it.
back down.
Yeah.
And that works different muscles and your whole body, it's like a whole thing.
Honestly, oftentimes it's harder to go down than it is to go up.
Probably. Sounds rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my friend two friends hiked the Grand Canyon, and you think that it's just a trail. No, it's like stairs. It was rough.
No thanks. Yeah. The heights thing is what freaks me out. Ray wants to do it, but I'm like, I don't know if I can. Well, thanks, Whitney, for being with us and for sharing your time and sharing your story. And everybody has to go get the book.
Yay! Yes, Amazon or my website.
Yes, let's do it. Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.